Welcome back, everybody. This is Latin's Fight Picks. Today we will do the predictions for UFC 301 in Rio, Brazil. Pantoja versus Erceg. This is a late one tonight, boys. Sorry, this is coming out really late, but I definitely didn't want to miss it. So it's late, but it's here. Better late than never, right? So I hope this helps everybody. So let's start. We will do it as usual from the prelims and work our way up to the main event. First fight of the night, Alessandro Costa versus Kevin Borjas. Alexander Costa, 5'4", 67-inch reach, 13 wins, 4 losses, 28 years old. Kevin Borjas, 5'5" inches, 68-inch reach, 9 wins, 2 losses, 26 years old. Alessandro Costa, he's got a great ground game. He's a good striker, power striker, and if you look at the guys he's fought, he's been losing a lot of fights, but it's against the top guys in the division, so he's got some really good experience under his belt. I think he's well-rounded. He can strike. He's good on the ground. He's good defensive wrestling, good offensive wrestling. He's super well-rounded. A little small. I always think he's a little tiny for the division, but he's very stout and strong. Kevin Borjas, he's a little taller. He's going to be longer, lankier. He is a striker. He's a fairly good striker. I bet against him last time he fought Van, and surprisingly, he hurt Van in the first round. And of course, Van, after that, picked it up a couple notches and took it to Borjas. And between the striking and the takedowns, Van won the decision. Borjas looked a lot better than I thought he would, in all honesty. And here's the thing: is I didn't think very highly of Borjas then. I still don't think very highly of him now. I'm not saying that he's not good. I'm saying I think he's actually pretty good. He's going to be very entertaining to watch. He's a good fighter. I just think Costa's more well-rounded. He just has to be careful on his feet because that's Borjas's path to victory. I think Borjas can get taken down. I think he can get up, but I think Costa also got a good takedown and good ground control. I think he's got it good enough where he's going to be able to win these rounds. So I'm not picking a KO. I think they're both tough. They're both durable. Although if someone was to get a KO for the victory, I would say Borjas's path would be more to that end. But I can't see it happening. I think Costa's going to survive. I think Costa's going to take him down. I think Costa's going to win rounds. And I think it's going to be Costa by decision. Moving on, Ismael Bonfim versus Vince Pichel. Ismael Bonfim, 5'8", 71.5-inch reach, 19 wins, 4 losses, 28 years old. Vince Pichel, 5'10", 72-inch reach, 14 wins, 3 losses, 41 years old. You know what? I've been betting. Did I bet on Ismael? I know I bet on his brother. I bet on Ismael in the first fight, and then I can't remember. Anyways, I'm getting the Bonfim brothers mixed up. Here's the thing. This is the weaker sibling of the two Bonfim brothers. And I think that Vince Pichel is... Okay, did I go over how tall he was? He's 5'10", he's 41 years old. Okay, so Vince Pichel, 5'10", 72-inch reach, 14 wins, 3 losses, 41 years old. That's the key takeaway from here. Is the 41 years old. He is 13 years older than Bonfim. He's a grizzled old veteran. Vince Pichel is very tough. He's fairly, for his years, he's had a lot of injuries, but really he hasn't had a lot of cage time. He's got 14 fights, 14-3, so he's got 17 fights. He's got less fights than Bonfim at his younger age. Normally, the younger fighter will win 70% of the time when it's over 10 years old. It's 70% of the time. So the deck is stacked against Vince Pichel. Bonfim, even though he looks sensational in his fights, I think this guy is breakable, which means if you wear on him really hard, he will break. That will not happen to Vince Pichel. And Vince Pichel will be, I think, a little slower, although he's tricky in there. He's got this kind of, he's slow, but he's effective. And he's got good leg kicks. He seems, he's not really fluid, but he's effective. And he's just a hard guy to fight. If you ever seen the guys that have fought him, here's the thing. Ismael Bonfim is minus 550. Vince Pichel is what's actually, it's even bigger than that. These are older stats. Vince Pichel is plus 400. Bonfim is minus 600. Bonfim should win this. It's in Brazil. They brought Vince Pichel up. They've been trying to set this fight up for a while. I don't know if it's because they've been trying to set it up for a while and they keep trying. If they think Bonfim can take out Vince Pichel, who's 41 years old, which might be the case. But you know what? There are some huge, massive favorites here. I'm going to go on the limb. I'm going to pick Vince Pichel to upset Bonfim. I don't think anybody has picked Vince Pichel. And I mean, I guess I'm going to be the first one to pick Vince Pichel for the big upset. It's the least confident pick of all of them. But I just somehow have my doubts about Bonfim, about his mental fortitude. And I don't have those questions about Pichel. I could make a big mistake and Bonfim's going to be able to dominate Vince Pichel, but I don't think anybody dominates Vince Pichel. I think you can beat Vince Pichel. I think he's beatable. It's either Bonfim's going to grind him and beat him slowly without being able to take him out, or Vince Pichel will discourage Bonfim to the point where he'll turn it around after this, hopefully this first round, and kind of wear on Bonfim when Bonfim can't take Pichel out. And he realizes that he's a lot stronger than he looks. He's got the old man strength. So Vince Pichel is going to be the pick. Super low confidence on this one. I like Vince Pichel. I think he's just a gritty, grindy kind of fighter that can win decisions. Bonfim, his mental fortitude is in question. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Vince Pichel. Very low confidence pick. You'll see on the board. Moving on. Dion Barbosa versus Ernesta Caracciata. Dion Barbosa, 5'6", 66.5-inch reach, 6 minutes, 2 losses, 31 years old. Ernesta Caracciata, 5'9", 71-inch reach, 5 wins, 0 losses, 1 draw, 25 years old. Ernesta Caracciata, very long, very lanky, very fluid in her strikes. She set the record for the most significant strikes in her Dana White Contender Series. So she's a really good striker. I don't know if she's really that powerful, but she throws a lot of volume and she's pretty accurate and she doesn't get tired. 25 years old, she doesn't have a lot of experience. I watched some of her older fights. There was a girl that she fought, Blot. She had a really hard time with Blot, and Blot was able to take her down, even though Blot didn't land a lot of damage, and Blot ended up losing that fight, which was questionable. When she got her in the ground, she was able to stay on top of her for quite a while. And I think Dion Barbosa is a much better grappler than that girl. So apart from the fact that Caracciata might be getting better at the ground game, Dion Barbosa is getting better at the ground game, and she's an excellent black belt. She's a black belt in judo. She's a black belt in BJJ. I think, if she keeps it on the feet, she's going to lose. But Dion is not going to keep it on the feet. She's going to take it to the ground. And we just don't know if Ernesta Caracciata is going to be able to get back up. So she is a fairly big favorite. I'm going to pick her to win. I think she's going to take Ernesta down, and I think she's going to expose her to something different. I'm not saying it's going to be an exciting fight. I'm just saying Barbosa should be able to control her and get a victory, if not a submission. Moving on, Mauricio Ruffi versus Jamie Mullarkey. Mauricio Ruffi, 5'11", 75-inch reach, 19 wins, 1 loss, 27 years old. Jamie Mullarkey, 6 feet tall, 74-inch reach, 17 wins, 7 losses, 29 years old. Here's the thing. Everybody knows Jamie Mullarkey's chinny. Okay, he's tall, 6 feet tall. I don't think he's 6 feet tall. He's a little shorter, so I think him and Ruffi are about the same size. Ruffi's about 5'11". Ruffi was fighting in welterweight, and he moved down now to lightweight, which is probably way better for him. He looked more ripped. He looked very powerful, very strong. I wasn't a huge fan in his Dana White Contender Series. He ended up losing the first 2 rounds, and then he ended up getting a stoppage. And he's been winning all his fights by KO, and he's been losing all his fights by KO. So I wasn't really impressed with his point fighting at welterweight against the guy he was fighting, just because if he didn't knock him out in the third round, excuse me, he would have lost that fight because he was losing it on the judges' scorecards. Jamie Mullarkey is the kind of guy that can drag this out and possibly do that. So this is kind of a really coin flip fight. Mauricio Rufy is a minus 210 favorite, 220 now. And that's the problem. The problem is, it's not that I wouldn't want to bet on Rufy. It's just those odds are so higher, and I think it's a closer fight because Rufy has to knock Mullarkey out. I think otherwise Mullarkey's just going to outpoint him, and he does that all the time. Jab, stay on the outside, take you down, get a little bit of control time, and, you get back up, and then he just wins these rounds. But I think Rufy's going to catch him. I'm counting on him catching him and knocking him out. He's been doing it for 9 fights in a row. It seems like he's pretty good at it. He's at a good weight class, 155. He's pretty big for this weight class. He was able to do it at 170. Now he's at 155. But this is a close fight. I mean, some people are picking Mullarkey, and going over those lists. And as far as Mullarkey goes, where is that? Yeah, I think that Mullarkey has a chance. It'd be a good dog shot, but I'm going to pick Rufy. Not happy with the odds. Low to mid confidence on the lower part. Moving on. Joaquim Silva versus Drakkar Klose. Joaquim Silva, 5'8", 69 inch reach, 13 wins, 5 losses, 35 years old. Drakkar Klose, 5'9", 70 inch reach, 14 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, 36 years old. Drakkar looked great in his last fight. He looked like he's really worked on his cardio. He's very aggressive, went for it. And Joaquim Silva, we know he's aggressive, and we know he kind of comes out guns a-blazing at the beginning, and he has a potential to knock you out. He's got pretty good BJJ. I think in this case, these guys are both going to come out hard and fast at the same age. They're virtually the same size. And, pick your poison. Drakkar Klose is a slight favorite. Joaquim Silva, I didn't like the way he looked in the last fight against Clay Guida. I thought did it okay. I mean, the best thing I ever saw him do is when he almost knocked out, what's his name? The guy who just fought, what's his name? I gotta look it up. Sorry, guys. Why am I even doing that when I can just look it up here? Where's that guy? Sorry. Right here. Sarukian. Yeah. So he got one big shot on Sarukian and it really wobbled him. Honestly, apart from that moment, there's not a lot else. So I kind of went back and forth on this one. I'm gonna go with Drakkar Klose. I think he's hungry. He showed a lot of enthusiasm in his last fight. I think he's gonna come in. I think he's gonna win a decision. It's gonna be close. I think he's just gonna wear on Silva, and I think Silva's gonna fade as the fight goes on, as long as Klose doesn't get knocked out, which is, I think, Silva's path to victory is to KO him in the first round. He doesn't get KO'd in the first round. I think second, third round are going to be for Drakkar Klose. But yeah, we don't want to keep saying close fight with Klose on the card. But anyways, Klose is going to be the pick. Mid-level confidence. Those are the early prelims. Now we're going to go to the prelims. John Silva Gomez. That I just found out that fight was canceled. Elvis Brenner versus Mitkupek. Is it Muktupek? Oralbai. So, or Elvis Brenner, 5'10", 72.5 inch reach, 16 wins, 3 losses, 26 years old. Matukbek Orobai, 5'10", 75.5 inch reach, 12 wins, 1 loss, 26 years old. Metrics are very similar. Orobai seems to have the longer arms. The guy is definitely kind of like a Neanderthal looking guy with long arms, big body, skinny arms, really strong. Alves Brenner, you know what? This guy has never ceased to surprise me. And whenever they count this guy out, it's gonna come back, comes up and wins and beats the guys that he shouldn't beat. So I'm a little biased because after the last few fights Alves Brenner has had, where he's come out of nowhere to win these fights, I said to myself, I'm not betting against this guy because he just seems to surprise everyone. Everybody seems to underestimate him, and they get this new prospect out, and he comes back and he does a sensational job, and he wins these fights. Or by, I bet against him when he fought Medic. And at the first round, it looked great. And if you look at that fight, Orobai was getting hurt on the feet. Medic was, stuffing the takedowns. But after the end of the first round, when Orobai finally took him down, the path to victory was clear. He went out in the second round. Medic tagged him a couple times, and he got him on the ground and basically dominated him on the ground. So the striking for Orobai, although great, was definitely not at the level of Medic. But Medic is a great striker. But Brenner's not a bad striker either. The only difference is Orobai can take Brenner down, yes. But Brenner's got good takedown defense. So did Medic. But Brenner's also good with BJJ. Medic was good with BJJ, but he just didn't look like he had any answers for Orobai. I don't know if it's because Orobai was so good or Medic was just not in the zone that day. I can't bet against Brenner. He's a huge underdog. And he's always surprising. This is going to be a really good fight. Orobai is going to strike with him on the feet. I think Brenner's a really tough guy. He has striked with better strikers than Orobai. And Orobai is going to be able to take him down. I think Brenner's going to be able to get back up. And I think Brenner's going to be able to squeeze this one out. And if it's a really close fight in Brazil, maybe the Brazilian's a good way to go. So Brenner's going to be the pick. Low confidence, just because Orobai could be the next best thing. We just don't know yet. Moving on. Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Yasmin Lucindo. Karolina Kowalkiewicz, 5'3", 64 inch reach, 16 wins, 7 losses, 38 years old. Yasmin Lucindo, 5'3", 66 inch reach, 15 wins, 5 losses, 22 years old. 16-year age difference. Literally almost half, 16 years, 45% of the age of Karolina Kowalkiewicz, which is the 16-year difference from 38 years old. They're about the same size. Normally, Karolina, I think she does better against girls that are slightly smaller than her in some way. Lucindo doesn't look as muscular as her, but if you've seen Lucindo fight, she's very strong in the clinch. She's very strong grappler, and she's going to be much faster in there. And even though I wanted to find a reason to bet on Karolina, at 38 years old, I found that she's an excellent striker, and she struck with the best girls. But I saw Lucindo's last fight, and the fight before that, she seems very fast. And Karolina's normally the faster girl in there. She's always throwing volume. She's a very smart fighter. She's experienced. She knows what to do. But Lucindo does the same thing. But this is just the quicker version of Karolina. I think they're both decent on the ground. Karolina's not going to be able to take Lucindo down and control her on the ground. She's a really good grappler too. That's her go-to tool for a lot of these girls. Lucindo might be able to reverse some positions. I think Karolina might be the stronger girl, but I think the quicker girl is going to be Lucindo. She's a huge favorite. I mean, minus 400. You can't even bet on her. I think that's why a lot of people are picking Karolina. Mid-level confidence, going to pick Lucindo. I think she's just going to be the better girl in there. Karolina, it does have a winning streak, but look at the competition and the level of competition. Lucindo, she's on her way up. Karolina, just kind of hanging around there, making some extra money for all the fights she took against these top-notch competitors or you know, people ranked really high. All the damage she's fought the best people, and she hasn't won, but she's a tough girl. So Lucinda's going to be the pick. Mid-level confidence. Moving on, Jack Shore versus Anderson Brito. Jack Shore, 5'8", 71 inch reach, 17 wins, 1 loss, 29 years old. Anderson Brito, 5'8", 72 inch reach, 16 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 29 years old. Jack Shore is moving up a weight class. He looks really pudgy. That doesn't mean he's not strong. That doesn't mean he's not really talented. But I think this is well above his pay grade. Anderson Brito, when he came in, he had a lot of problems gassing. He's generally the shorter fighter in there. In this case, he's not going to be the shorter fighter. They're the same size. And Brito's always seems to be fighting against guys that are taller than him, and they got some kind of physical advantage. Even though Brito was built like a brick shithouse, the height was lacking. In this case, that's not even going to be the case. So I think Brito's going to be able to be fairly dominant against Jack Shore, even though Shore could take him to the later rounds and possibly, Brito starts to gas and whatnot. But you know what? I just can't see Jack Shore doing that. The striking, Brito's going to beat him on the striking part of it. I think the grappling, Brito's going to be stronger. And it's just a matter of Brito's cardio, holding out first 2 rounds and maybe make sure he gets through the 3rd round. But Brito's the kind of guy that can finish his fight at any time. I don't think that's the case for Jack Shore. I don't think he can finish Brito. So Brito's going to pick. High level confidence. What's going on to the main card? All right. This is dog shot heaven. I'm sorry. There's just, the odds are so stupid for these Brazilian fighters, and maybe for just reason. They're so high. They're so high, it's crazy. You're thinking dog shots all the time just because the odds are so crazy. First of all, you can't even bet on those guys with those odds. So immediately you're thinking, okay, where's the value? So everyone's going to make a different choice. Paul Craig versus Chao Barallo. Paul Craig, 6'3", 76 inch reach, 17 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, 36 years old. Chao Barallo, 5'10", 75 inch reach, 15 wins, 1 loss, 31 years old. Paul Craig is getting older. He's slowing down just a little bit. Chao Barallo is on the way up. Craig moved down. He says 6'3". I think it's probably 6'2". Chao Barallo, what's his path to victory? Striking. He's good on the ground, so he can get himself into some tough spots, and he probably can survive it. But do you really want to be playing that game with Craig, right? Yeah, and I don't think Chao Barallo is a really massive middleweight like Allen is, where Allen could control him on the ground, just because Allen was actually a really big guy. Chao Barallo is not that big guy. He's big, but he's not like Allen big, where he can control him. I think he'll have a hard time with Craig on the ground. Craig's always live for this submission. That's how he wins. No one's expecting him to win. He'll throw something up. Chao Barallo, excellent BJJ. He's going to be hard to catch. On the feet, Chao Barallo should be able to beat him. But you know what? Paul Craig is a little slower, but he doesn't look that bad all the time on the feet, At minus 725 for Chao Barallo, and plus 450 for Paul Craig, Chao Barallo should win, but you can't bet on him. So the pick is going to be Chao Barallo, but realistically, I would put a bet on Craig and long shot this thing, right? In Brazil, it's hard to bet against Chao Barallo because Craig is getting old, but I'll tell you, I don't think Chao Barallo has fought anyone to this level. He hasn't, because even if you look at the guys he has fought, they're not at the Paul Craig level. This is the best guy he's fought, right? This is the best guy he's fought that's just dangerous. That's not a dangerous striker, because he's fought some dangerous strikers, but they've had the weak points where they're not good at grappling. And so there's some fights that he always looks like it's very competitive with Chao. And Craig is always in competitive fights until he wins. So this might not be a slam dunk as much as everybody says it is, even though it's probably, I put him as the most confident pick for Chao Barallo. I'm just saying Craig is such a wild card. and the odds are so big that, you know, the bet could be on Paul Craig. And even though you think Chavarella should win this fight, that's how I feel about it. I mean, when I first looked at it, I immediately said that's a red flag fight where Craig could possibly win. The more I looked into it, the more I got sold on Barallo winning this fight, clearly. But my first impression, I don't know, sometimes they're correct and you overthink it. So anyways, Chavarella is going to be the pick. Next fight, Michael Pereira versus Ihor Pretoria. Michael Pereira, 6'1", 73-inch reach, 30 wins, 11 losses, 30 years old. Ihor Pretoria, 6'3", 75-inch reach, 20 wins, 5 losses, 27 years old. I bet on Ihor Pretoria in last 2 fights. And last fight he won, and the fight before that, he was an underdog there, and he was a huge underdog against the tractor, what's his name, Bellato, and he almost knocked out Bellato. I'm surprised he didn't stop the fight. They should have stopped it. Ihor should have won that fight, but they let it continue. So I'm a believer in Ihor Pretoria. You know, some guys are picking him to pull the upset off Michel Pereira, but I just don't see it, you know. And I'm trying to look at it, and Ihor Pretoria and the guys he has beat, I don't think are, well, I mean, they're not great. They're very low level. So he's about to fight Pereira. Pereira does have some mental issues as he makes bad decisions. That I'd be more worried about than anything else. But realistically, he looks really good in the middleweight class. Pretoria, he's new to the middleweight class too. He looks really good. You know, you got Pereira moving up and you got Pretoria moving down. Having said that, I think Pereira is going to be the much more talented fighter. Some people are picking Pretoria to pull the upset. I see upsets, but I just don't see this one, you know. I think Pereira is going to be the pick, high confidence pick. I don't see the upset with Ihor. Pereira could be a fade, but not in this case. Ihor, he's good on the feet. He's a little reckless. He makes bad decisions too, but he just goes for it. Yeah, but Pereira is going to be the pick. Moving on. Anthony Smith versus Vitor Petrino. Anthony Smith, 6'4", 76-inch reach, 37 wins, 19 losses, 35 years old. Vitor Petrino, 6'2", 77.5-inch reach, 11 wins, 0 losses, 26 years old. 11-year age difference. I mean, Vitor Petrino is just a bull. He's super strong. He's getting better all the time. He's huge for the division. They say they're 6'4", 6'2". I saw the weighouts. They're the same size. So Vitor Petrino is minus 650. Anthony Smith is plus 425. Vitor Petrino should win this fight. He should be able to dominate. He's going to be so strong in there, right? But realistically, he is strong. But as the fight goes on, Smith has got good technique on the ground. He could get hurt on the feet, but I don't think Petrino is that sensational on the feet. And I think he's taken a lot of people to the ground. I don't think that's going to be the path to victory for him. I think he needs to keep it on the feet and knock out Smith. But, you know, Smith has got a shot at this, you know. I mean, Petrino is young. He could be the future of the division, but he's learning. I think he's an okay. He hasn't looked sensational, and he hasn't looked sensational against lower level competition. So I think this is going to be a lot closer than everybody thinks. And this is what I'm saying is, yes, Petrino should win. But at minus 650, this is very close fight. And again, do you take a dog shot on Smith to squeeze out a split decision against this guy? You know, where he doesn't get finished, he gets some control time. They go on the ground. Smith reverses him a couple of times, you know, maybe puts him in a submission. You know, Petrino's going to be the much stronger guy in there, but Smith, he has been striking with everybody. It's a hard one. Petrino's going to be the pick. I mean, realistically, he should win it. It's the odds that I don't like. You could put a bet on Smith. I mean, you never know what'll happen. I mean, you just don't know. And you look back at it and go, oh yeah, man, this guy wasn't ready. So Petrino's going to be the pick. High level of confidence at minus 650. Unbettable. So if you want to take a dog shot, you know, possibly, or you know, if you have a small parlay and you just throw in Smith with it to give it a multiple effect, maybe, you know, give it a try. So, yeah, moving on to the co-main event. Jonathan Martinez versus Jose Aldo. Jonathan Martinez, 5'8", 70-inch reach, 19 wins, 4 losses, 30 years old. Jose Aldo, 5'7", 70-inch reach, 31 wins, 8 wins, 37 years old. Okay, Jose Aldo is old. He is getting slower, but he used to be the champ of the division. Jonathan Martinez, I've seen him do really bad, and then I saw him do really good. And last time I bet on Yanez, and Martinez just destroyed him with just his kicks. Just destroyed the guy. And is he going to do the same thing to Aldo? There's only one path to victory for Martinez, and that's to kick Aldo's leg. That's the only path to victory. Now, is Jose Aldo going to check it? Now, he's very talented. He's a good boxer. If he ends up checking these kicks, what else does Martinez have? That's the question. Even an old Aldo is better than Martinez on the ground and in the striking. It's only the leg kicks that Martinez got. And if Aldo, which he can do, he can check these kicks, he's got a path to victory. He is the underdog in this one. He is older. He is coming back. He's a king of Rio. It's the co-main event. It's going to be a great fight. If he can stop those leg kicks with some good checks, he could win this fight. Period. Martinez, I mean, if Martinez ends up getting these leg kicks and Aldo's not doing anything, I mean, he's gonna get chopped down. But this guy's got a lot of experience. There's a lot of guys who've tried to kick this guy's leg. He fought a few different guys that tried to kick him. He fought, what's his face? Pedro Munoz, who's a leg kicker. And guess what? He survived the leg kicks and he touched up Pedro Munoz, and Pedro Munoz got a better chin than Martinez. That's for sure. But he was the shorter fighter, and in this case, Aldo will be 1 inch shorter, but Munoz is about 2 inches shorter than Jose Aldo. So he has been in there with some good leg kickers. He is older. He is coming back. He has had a couple of year layoff, or just almost 2 years. So you know what? In this case, it's a dog money. Aldo's got a really good chance. I'm going to go Jose Aldo in Rio, King of Rio, winning the fight. Low-level confidence. Moving on. Main event, Alexander Pantoja versus Steve Erceg. Alexander Pantoja, 5'5", 67.5-inch reach, 27 wins, 5 losses, 35 years old. Steve Erceg, 5'8", 68-inch reach, 12 wins, 1 loss, 28 years old. 7-year age difference. Erceg's looked fantastic. I have underestimated this guy every step of the way. He's got a great chin. He's really long for the division. He's got good striking. He's good on the ground. He's good everywhere. This guy's going to be champ. I just don't think he's going to be champ right now, because Alexander Pantoja is 35 years old. He's still at the top of his game. Doesn't matter. He's fought tall guys. He's fought guys that can kick. He's fought guys that can grapple. He's fought guys that can strike. He's fought the best guys in the division, and he finds a way to win. He goes full steam ahead. He's got super powerful shots. He gasses what appears to be gassing, but he pushes through it, and he goes all 5 rounds. You know what? I mean, it's obvious. I'm going to pick Pantoja. I got a high degree of confidence that he's going to win this. Erceg is good. I just don't think Erceg's going to beat Pantoja right now. And I think Pantoja, in a year or two, he's going to be done. He's going to have a couple more title defenses. It took him forever to get to be the champ. They held him back. It seemed like he never had the right opportunity. They never gave him the championship attempt. And I don't think he's going to let it go. He's just not going to let it go. And I don't think Erceg's going to be the guy that's going to dethrone him at this moment. He's too good. He beat everybody. There's no, I mean, you know, he beat, the Assassin Baby. He beat Royval. I mean, come on. Like, who's left? There's really nobody left. I think they're just throwing Erceg in there. I'm not saying that Erceg doesn't have a chance. He does. This is going to be a good fight. It's going to go the full 5 rounds. And Erceg does have an opportunity, and I think he deserves a title shot. I just think this is Pantoja's time. Maybe for another year or so. It's kind of the Alexander Volkanovski thing. Once he hits 36, and you know, there's a lot of things that he's relying on that might not be there. I think this time he's in Brazil. They set this fight up for him. I think he's going to win. All right, let's do the board, and then that's it. Can we see it? Is it too far? Should I bring it closer? I'll bring it closer. Is that better? All right. All right. Again, not financial advice. Bet only what you can afford to lose. But this is how I'm going to structure it. Most confident to least confident. You could take this and add it to your own information, see what you agree with, what you don't agree with. Baralo, I mean, I've listed a whole bunch of these minus 600s up there. Okay, I don't even know where to put these guys. I mean, obviously, you're going to be most confident in the guys who are most confident, I guess, to win with the odds. Minus 650 Baralo. You know, I wouldn't blame anybody for having a small bet on Craig at plus 425, because anything can happen in there. Craig can catch Baralio at any time. Even though he is excellent at BJJ, he has caught people that are excellent in BJJ. Actually, he beat Mooney's, right? So nevertheless, Baralio is going to be the pick. Unbettable. So maybe a bet on Craig. Pereira minus 725. You know what? Honestly, I can't see him being beaten by Ihor. High confidence pick, unbettable. Petrino, minus 600, unbettable. Smith, I mean, anything can happen in there. And this is the best guy he's ever fought. He's really strong. He's like a bull. But, you know, this guy's a veteran and he's fought the best of the best. And he's fought them close. So, Petrino's going to be the pick. Possible dog shot money on Smith. He's unbettable. Pantoja, this is his time. I think he's going to win this fight. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a close fight. Pantoja's going to be unanimous decision. How do I see these fights ending? Well, if Craig wins, it should be by sub. I guess Craig by submission. Baralio's got to keep it on the feet and win a decision. Ferreira, I mean, he's going to be fighting Ihor, and Ihor normally gets finished. So maybe Pereira by knockout or sub, inside the distance anyway. Petrino versus Smith, this is going to go the distance. You know, if anybody's going to finish anyone, it's going to be Petrino's going to be finishing Smith on the feet. So it'll be KO. If it goes to decision, you know, Smith's path to victory will probably be decision. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's a tricky submission in there. But yeah, Smith by decision, split decision victory. Who knows if that's going to happen in Brazil? But hey, like I said, at minus 600, you can't even bet this guy anyway. You don't have to do any bet. Better yet, you know, if it's too big of a long shot, just don't do anything. Don't bet him at all. Like nobody. At minus 600, minus 725, minus 650, don't bet it. Just don't do it. Trust me, I've done it and it never works out. So, nevertheless, Pantoja minus 185, still some value there. Brito, he's going to win this fight. Okay, minus 185. Lucindo, unbettable at minus 400, but I think she's going to win this fight by decision. Barbosa, minus 245. Honestly, this is bettable, but I don't even know if I would bet it because these girls are just first time in the UFC, first UFC card. I mean, at minus 245, women's MMA, you don't know anything about anybody. It's still too high. You know, it would have to be below 200 for me to even look at this. So she's going to be the pick. I don't even know if it's bettable. I mean, you can bet it, but realistically, it's too many variables that are unknown for those odds. Costa, minus 125. I think he's going to beat Borjas. I don't know. Some people are picking Borjas. I've seen it go both ways. I see Costa winning. Close, minus 195, still bettable. You know, he should be the better guy in there. He's going to be able to win a decision. I think he's going to grind out Silva. Rufi, you know, he's a new guy. He should be able to KO Malarkey, but if he doesn't KO Malarkey, he's not going to win because Malarkey's going to outpoint this guy. At minus 220, again, unbettable for what you're getting. First time in the UFC. It's not like he's some dominant juggernaut going in there, but he is fighting a guy that can be KO'd. So, you know, bet at your own risk on that one. Aldo, low level confidence, plus 120. How can you not bet on King of Rio He has got so many tools. There's only one tool for Martinez: leg kicks. So, he checks those leg kicks. Aldo's winning this fight. Brenner, I can't bet against him. This guy seems to be pulling off, even though the guy he's fighting is a Neanderthal and he's great. And normally I'd like to bet on him. I just can't bet against Brenner in Brazil with plus money. Least confidence. I just don't have any confidence in this guy's mental fortitude. Pichel is tough. What's that? Vince Pichel from hell Pichel or whatever. Well, this guy's going to take him to hell. He's old. He's grizzled. He looks like a little demon in there. He's all ripped and shredded. We'll see what happens. It's new blood against the old grizzled blood. And hey, you know what? This guy's a chance to win. I'm going to go with him. He's not going to finish Pichel. So it's going to go down to a decision. At a decision, at plus 400, I'm picking Vince Pichel. So that's just my opinion. So, granted, it is a long shot, and I'm not saying that he could show that he's very well deserving of the minus 600. Minus 600 on this guy against this guy, I don't like. That's why I got him down here. I mean, normally I'd have him up here with a potential to bet on Pichel, but it's to the point where I'm willing to take a straight up dog shot. These are my picks for the winnings, with maybe a sprinkle on some dogs here, but I'm actually picking the dog here. So that's the difference, where I think that this is going to be so close, it's absolutely ridiculous. I still think he has a shot at winning this. And it would be great at 41 years old? I mean, that'd be fantastic. Nevertheless, not financial advice. And bet what he can only afford to lose. All right. I think that's it. Hit like if you like the content. Subscribe if you want to get notified. And obviously, I'm putting out videos at the craziest times. Sorry about that anyways. I'll try to do the recap video next Tuesday or Wednesday. Probably Tuesday would be a better day. But let's try for Tuesday. Otherwise, good luck with your bets. And we will see you on Tuesday, and let's stack them high. Who says that? There's a guy who says them. Anyways, I like that. Let's stack these bets high. Hopefully we hit every single one of them. And you know what? Hopefully we hit one with all those big, huge underdogs. I'm gonna create a couple different things. So we'll see what happens. Otherwise, thank you very much for joining me. We will see you next week.